Welcome to the LOAH podcast, here where we discuss all issues occurring in these modern days of time, where we speak our minds based on facts and tell you all the truth. I'm LOAH, aka Lessons of a Housewife, and co-host Christina McGavin, the enlightened homemaker. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome back, Christina.
And thank you. So happy to be here with you. You have no idea.
Right. All right. So we're excited about this one today. This is actually my topic. I titled the video, for those of you that are aware, it's Gold Diggers Mentality. Now, if you're not aware of this woman, she has been in the YouTube realm of creation for some time now. And I've been wanting to speak on her for a long, long time. I got a clip I'm going to play, and me and Christina's going to go in on it. So here we go.
Hello, how are all of you today? So, the title of this video is Women Like Money. And I know a lot of you know this already. There are a lot of people that don't want to admit this, but yeah, women like money. So, therefore, this is now what a lot of women require when choosing a partner or when choosing someone that they would like, to spend their lives with or to date or whoever. You know what I'm saying? You can't be poor. And the reason why a lot of people do not deal with poor people while dating is because there's too many issues, there's too many problems, and one cannot, make the other one satisfied when it comes to getting what they want. So, dating poor people is not a thing that I would say is bad or good. I would just say that if y'all are both poor and y'all are dating each other, unless y'all have some ideas on how to get rich, then I don't see how it is going to help you. I also know that a lot of people don't like to go outside of their comfort zones. And so therefore, they stick with what they know. And so a lot of times this does not help, when people choose who they date. So I would suggest knowing who you are, knowing what you like, knowing the type of, sorry, y'all. I have these automatic things that I do to. Knowing your type, knowing everything that you know that you like, and, knowing how realistic it is to date certain types of people. So I have the comments turned off. I have all of that turned off. A lot of the times those comments are too distracting and they're just repeats of the same thing over and over. So I don't really need to read them. Okay. If you would like to, if you have questions, definitely purchase the books on Amazon that I have written. They are in the description. So therefore, any questions you probably have are going to be answered in those books already, okay? From now on, I probably am not going to be answering any more questions from the live feeds, only because they're redundant and they don't really help the channel anymore. So,
and I wonder why, because obviously she's going to be saying a bunch of stuff that a lot of people don't agree with, but I'm gonna continue playing. I just have to say that. And of course, Christina, you can let me know whenever you want to pause it. So if you have something to say.
Oh, I got something to say right now.
You want to go ahead and say it?
She is the epitome of lazy. She's the epitome of like blind leading the blind. She's toxic. All right. So I don't fall into the whole like toxic masculinity, toxic femininity. Like, I just think that you're toxic. Like, but if I really fell into that, she would be the definition of a toxic female. Like, she disgusts me. That's so disgusting. Everything that she's saying is disgusting, in my opinion. Like, my husband and I started off with nothing. Like, we really did. We had nothing. And throughout the years of being with one another and building one another up, we've seen many successes. And that's only because we did it together. We strived for similar things, and we helped build one another up. And he supports me and I support him in what he does. And that's what marriage is. It's teamwork, it's effort, it's loving one another and supporting one another, regardless of whatever it is that's coming your way. And this woman just has absolutely no idea what she's talking about. And I can guarantee you that she's single, lives by herself, and is just miserable. And I know she's miserable just because of the way that she presents herself. And she's lazy. If you're going to start spewing this disgusting bullcrap into people that are willing to actually absorb it, at least back it up and entertain your audience. Now she's saying, I'm not going to answer the questions because it's just redundant. No, it's just because you're lazy and you know that what you're saying is bullcrap. Well, I'm sorry. I could just go off.
Facts, Christina, facts.
Oh,
Facts.
I just want
I
to
swear.
take the phone.
I know she hasn't even gone in depth of exactly what she's going to be explaining to us, but I want to let everybody that's watching this video know that this video that I have you observing right now is titled Women Love Money. So that right there just gives you an idea of where she's going to venture off into her own realm of fantasy worlds that she wants to spill out to the rest of the society. So thank you, Christina. I'm going to go ahead and play some more. Let's see what else she got to say.
All right.
Therefore, I'm going to just leave them where they are. I may answer questions every once in a while, but today I'm not going to do that because, like I said, redundant. Okay, so let me tell y'all. When I was young, I'm going to tell y'all, it was not recommended to date people that did not have money. So therefore, this is what I grew up learning. Only date guys that have money, only date guys that can help you, only date guys that can pay for stuff, only date guys that can do this and that can do that. I did not grow up learning anything else. Okay. So this is why I teach what I teach, because a lot of women did not grow up that way. They grew up learning to accept whatever based on whatever they were taught. So therefore, a lot of people need to relearn not to accept what was taught to them or what they saw. Only, I'm sorry, y'all. These are getting on my nerves. Sorry, y'all. 1 second. There you go. There are these little, alerts that I need to mute. So therefore, if you grew up in a place where they told you to love someone just to love them, no matter if they were poor or rich, they don't know that in society that everyone is not going to have the type of mind to know how to make money. And so if you are with someone that is not, that doesn't have any money, will they ever figure out how to get some? And are you going to stay there with them until they do, or are you going to do what is best for you? So, ladies, don't listen to anyone that tells you something that you don't agree with, especially if it's not helpful to you. Never allow people to tell you something if it wasn't helpful to them. Okay? So be very careful who you are listening to, because a lot of these ladies are literally living their own story in their mind and wanting you to follow. And if their story is not something...
Yeah,
she's
go
talking
ahead.
about herself. She's literally describing herself, LOAH. I everything she's saying. Like, that's how I feel about her. I can't believe it. I cannot believe what she's saying. Like, I laugh. I'm literally finding humor in what she's saying. And let me say this too. Women don't find security in money. That's not where I
Right.
find my security. I never did and I never will. Where I find security is with my husband. My husband provides me with the security that I need. I get to go to bed every single night knowing that I'm well provided for, I'm well taken care of, I have everything I need, the lights are on, all the bills are paid. My husband does that with his
Right.
money that he makes for himself, that he goes out and he busts his back every single day, and he wakes up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and there's some nights where he doesn't stroll in until 10 o'clock at night, didn't eat dinner yet, like, just, he provides me with that security that I need. It's not the money, it's the security. It's the trust that I have within him, that I know that regardless of what we go through in life, he's going to provide, and he's going to ensure that our family is always well taken care of, because that's just the kind of man that he is. He's always been
Amen.
that way. He brought me in when I was a broken, beaten down woman. I was very liberal. I fell into the sphere of modernized women, and I had absolutely no idea how I was living at the time it was dark. And he brought me in when I was experiencing some horrible things in life, and he loved me through that, and he wanted to provide for me. My daughter's father passed away when I was pregnant with her, so I had a newborn at the time. She was only 4 months, and he took us in and he sheltered us, and he told me that I didn't have to work anymore, and I'll just focus on you and focus on taking care of your baby, and I will take care of the rest. And it's always been that way. It's never changed since then. That's security. That's trust. Like, that's love. And this woman is trying to say that she gets all of those things from money and material things. Well, guess what? When you're 65 and you're alone and you have no one to take care of you and you have no beautiful memories to look on, she's going to deeply regret this video. She's going to deeply regret everything that she was spewing into vulnerable minds of women that are lost, just as lost as she is. I said it before, I'll say it again. She's literally blind, and she's leading the blind. It's disgusting to me. Like, she's just, I could seriously go off for hours.
Amen. Amen on that. So, it's funny because there's many women out here like her. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of these littlest formed women out here trying to manipulate the young girls' minds on how that's their major focus in life is supposed to be, just independence and what man can give you. Have your whole life financed. There's nothing that you're supposed to do for it. There's nothing that you're not allowed to want, that you're supposed to have the world given to you. Everybody's supposed to just be able to sweep you off your feet. Like, it's this fantasy realm she lives in. And it's funny because out of all the contents that she has made, I haven't watched all of them, nor would I even give my mind the time to listen to this garbage. For her to even spill the type of nonsense to me, have I seen that she's even really said anything that can hold some value. And it's funny because there's a lot of women out here that actually took on her advice and are making reels or TikToks based on her advice. And they fall right in the lines of all the modern day women out here that think that the world owes them something. They all do. I don't ever see any housewives mention her. I don't see any real women out here mentioning her. So it's just what you said is correct. Like, I know we didn't get too far into it, but I know some of the information she already has put out there. I've actually seen this woman years ago. I don't even know how long she's been doing her own little sprinkle type of bull crap in YouTube, but it's been some time. I think the first time I even came across her when my husband sent me a video on her was probably 6-7 years ago. Yeah, maybe
Wow.
6 years ago. My little one was like, she was about 1 year old. So she's been doing this for years, and she has ventured out into a lot of women's lives. A lot of women. And that's why we have the society the way it is. We have a lot of older women out here that just really think this way. And they have these platforms to tell younger women that this is your primary goal in life. Do whatever the hell you want to do. And then when you meet the guy, take from him. That's it. That's all she's saying.
Yeah, like she wants to skip over all of the hard work that is put into a relationship, and she just wants to jump to the very top with all the money. And like, some relationships don't lead to that. Like, not everyone's gonna be rich in life. I don't know. I look at being rich way different than what most people do. Like, when I define a rich person, I'm not defining them by their money. I'm not defining them by what they have material wise or what kind of suit or beautiful dress they're wearing or their handbags or their shoes. Like, I look at you and I look at what you have internally. Like, do you have peace of mind? Are you free in the sense that you know what you stand for and you're willing to back it up with a fight? Like, what do you have family wise? Like, do you have a good family? And that's what I define being rich as. Like, I may not have a lot of money, but I'm definitely rich of heart. And that's because of the life that my husband and I have built that upon. And
Right.
she's just so shallow. Like, I know we didn't even get, I don't even know if we can make it through the whole video. Like, and everything that she's saying, it just makes no sense. Like, I'm trying to understand like the mentality that she has. And I know that we're just so far away from that. So that's probably why I just can't comprehend it. But it's just very hard for me to understand women in today, like with that kind of mentality. Like, just get rich. Like, what? Why? Like, what's that going to do for you? I don't know.
Hold no real value. Money is the only value that should be in your world. Don't hold no real moralistic values. Don't hold no any type of poise. Don't be feminine. None of that crap. She has a few videos where she mentions femininity, but it's in the use to pursue the guy that has the money. To be
Right.
You can be feminine to a point, so to speak, is kind of her mantra when it comes down to femininity. And that probably be another video we will review with you guys later. But
she's a predator.
Right. Like,
she is. She really is. Like, she's a predator.
It's sad because I love how you use your husband as an example, because my husband is the perfect example also. Like, when I met him, it was blue collar times of his life, and I was just a little waitress and everything. And his vision that he had is why I followed, because I accepted him already to where he was at. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind the blue collar. I didn't mind just the normal ways of life, the simple picket fence and everything, and children and family. That is the richness that aligns in marriage.
Right.
Is
the
when
simplicity of it
the
all.
husband, the stability, that just y'all coming together and making it work with good or bad. It's in vows, for better or for worse, which are now not even considered anything anymore. People get married just because of money. And she's one of the real reasons of why women actually only want to get married for money. Mm-hmm. She is pretty much like the poster woman for these types of women out here, and leading them astray. She really is. She's leading them astray. Our husbands are great, and we are not wealthy. No, we are not these. We don't have, billions and billions or millions and millions of dollars. We make everything work with what we got, and we are very frugal. I'm more frugal than my husband is, because I know how hard how much work and effort it takes for him to bring in everything that he needs to do. I'm not going to make him put in effort work because I want this and I want that. My wants are not more valuable than the necessities that I need to have. And that's just my husband, my children maintain, us having a roof over our heads, food in our stomachs. I could be good with that. I don't need to have this lavish lifestyle that women think that they're supposed to be provided just off the backs of men automatically, just in meeting them. First thing they bring up is what you do, how much you make. They could care less of what's in a man's mind. And then they get mad on the fact that when they do find a guy that has high value of that type of world, that financial high value, that he's not mentally where they want him to be, because he probably has plenty of other women out there, because he can pay for these women now. So he's not going to stick with just one. And he could care less about you. It's the blue collar men that's constantly overlooked. It's the regular men out here that actually built the society to be as comfortable as it is now, that are constantly the ones that are brushed away. But we're supposed to look to the top pillar 1%ers of men, and to get mad when he has options, get mad when he has the opportunity to do what he wants because he can afford it. Because all we look at men is for money, because now we can have our own jobs. And now we can do whatever we want. They're just wallets. Consider men to be wallets now. They're not even human. They're supposed to be just something in your pocket that you can control and take money out of at all times. I'm so sick of women like this, but yeah, we can go ahead and continue, because
beautifully said.
We will rant on this, but let's see what else you got to say.
That you like, then why would you follow? Like, my story is definitely something that is not perfect. And my story is definitely something that is not what everyone thought it was or wanted it to be, because I never said my life is perfect. My life is not perfect. And if it was, I wouldn't be on here on YouTube. Okay, my life is what I made it. And I know for sure that part of the reason why my life is so good is because I made good decisions not to date too many poor people. When you're a teenager, when you're growing, and you may date because it doesn't matter about money when you're very young. Then when you get a little bit older, that's when it starts to matter. So just listen to those who have more than those who don't. The reason why I'm saying this is because
I'm sorry, I just had to say this. What does she have? What do she have besides sitting in front of a camera with wigs on and makeup, telling other women that they're supposed to expect more? Because she can shop. That's what you have. Material. You have material. That's the value that she seeks. That's the value she wants all these other women to seek. Just seek material. Don't seek love. Don't seek a real husband. Don't seek family. Seek material.
She's the kind of woman that looks at marriage as just a contract when it's so much more than that. And you know what? Like, I don't understand why these women are getting married anyway, because what they don't understand is like marriage is actually, it's a covenant. It's not a contract. For the government, yeah, maybe. But like spiritually wise, marriage is a religious thing. So I don't even understand why all these women out here are even getting married, because they're completely skipping over the most important part of it, the biggest piece of it. It's a covenant between God, bringing in two people to become one. It's like their flesh becomes one flesh. And like they're completely just missing that. Like, what is the point of these modernized women getting married? I don't understand it. What's the point of them doing it?
Right.
It holds no value in their lives. Like you said, like she's just, everything revolves around material items for her. Like she's just so, her mind is so distorted, and it's just such a gross way of thinking. I really just can't comprehend her. I can't, I have no sympathy for her. I think that she's just going to grow old and lonely and ugly. She's ugly on the inside. That's why she's speaking the way that she is. She's just ugly. You're an ugly woman. That's probably why men don't want to date you. If you're constantly coming on YouTube having to explain why you're going after all these men with money, why don't you just stick with one of them, get married, and have a good life? But obviously that's not working out for you, lady. I don't even know what her name is because of her mentality. She's gross. And that's going to be the way that her life is. And I have no sympathy for her. I pray for people like that, but I don't have sympathy for them because they're setting themselves up for failure ultimately.
Yeah, you were on the money with that a man's value is not his money. A man's value is not his money. A man's value is his mind. A man's value is the vision, his productivity in society, not necessarily what he can create, he can have financially. But I would take a log chopper. I would take a log chopper over a billionaire, because when it comes down to survival, even in the times that we didn't have this whole convenience of how things are now. When we were picking men on the strength of things, we were picking men on the strengths of their agility, their mindsets, and the security of how they were built. We weren't concerned about money because money wasn't even a thing. But now that it's just in production, which will be lost soon, but it's out here and women can get it just so easily now, because all you got to do is be on OnlyFans. And you got some young bucks out there that are not getting laid, willing to finance you that way. You think you know something now. You think you know men now. And there's a lot of women out here that think that they can just pull these types of games on men and use them however they want, because you have a group of men that lack the ability to understand women. There is the simps are the ones that are, and I don't like to really call them simps, but that's the title of the men that actually fall for women like this, because they obviously are unaware of female nature, which is why they do what they do. Men that are aware of female nature are not going for this crap. They're not. They're not going to sit there and be used, and they're not going to sit there and finance everything you want, and you're not their wife, you're not doing anything in return. You know, that marriage is when y'all come together and work together. Marriage ain't just for the wife. Marriage ain't just for women. You know, and it's the whole wedding. It's like, you know what? That's what it is. Because women just want the wedding. They don't want marriage. They just want the wedding. They want the lavish celebration of somebody picking them. And then that's it. All the work is done on their behalf. The man has to just continue to do what he's supposed to do and finance everything that I want while I sit back and watch. And that's why men don't want to get married now. And I think marriage is a beautiful thing. Me and you are both married, and there's nothing that you can tell me or have me do to make me walk away from it. There's nothing. I tell my husband all the time, you will literally have to get rid of me for me to choose for me to walk out that door. You will have to not want me no more. I will have to mess up. There's something I will have to have done for my husband being like, this is not going to work for 10 freaking years. And then he just ups and leaves. I don't even believe in those types of stories. You know, there's something that you possibly done that made that man decide, man, you know what? I've been dealing with this for 10 years. I can't take it no more. That's honestly the truth of when men actually walk away from a marriage. You can just use the Jeezy situation as an example.
I think this is what's most heartbreaking about it all is that men want to provide. Like they do. They want to provide. They want to take care of their women. They want to take care of their children. They want to be put in a position where they lead and guide us, and they're the provider. Like they want that role. But the problem in society today is that women don't want to move to the side. They want to be the ones to say, like, no, I'm making the money. I control the money. I'm making all the decisions. I'm making all the rules. And if you don't like that, then you can go. And you know what? I don't blame the men if they do go. I can't blame them for that. Men want to take care of women. And that's where these women are getting it twisted. Like, they don't understand that. They want to constantly dictate everything that's going on in the relationship. But then they want the man to work for everything, to pay for everything. Well, which one is it? Are you going to submit and allow your man to guide you and lead you, direct you and your family? Or do you want to call the shots? You can't have both. There has to be a natural order to things. And in my belief, it goes, the man runs the family. I submit to my husband. And I know a lot of women don't like that word submit, but let me just say this. If you submit to the right man, you're not even going to feel like you're submitting to anything. Like, I don't sit here on a daily basis and think to myself, like, my husband doesn't like, no, my husband lets me, I'm a free thinker. He lets me do as I please. And if there's something that he might, have an issue with, he lets me know. But he's never told me what I can or can't do. Like, women have it all twisted with the whole submission piece. Submission is just me saying to my husband, I trust you. I'm not allowing you to do anything. I trust that you're going to do these things. And I want you to do these things. I want you to guide our family. I want you to lead our family. I want you to make the decisions. I want you to be the one to go out and work. And I don't have, he controls all the money. I don't. And I'm totally fine with that. When I need it, he gives it to me. But, right, sweetie? Yeah, hold on. Why would I have any say in where the money goes when he's the one laboring for all of it? And I have no problem with that. I always, I have my own little bank account. He puts money in it for me. I always have money in there. But I don't need to control any of that when I'm not the one contributing to the finances. Marriage is a very self-sacrificial thing. And I don't think many people understand that either. Like, our men sacrifice just as much as we do. And they're just two different, I think we sacrifice different things. But in the end, we're both sacrificing. And I think that's where a lot of the teamwork comes in. And that's where we unite as one. We're sacrificing, but we're doing it because we love each other. And in the end goal is that sacrifice is going to lead us to a much higher place where we can come together again, and just watch what we did and watch what we built together. Like, it's so beautiful. And
all right, so let's get back into it.
We can look at a beautiful background all day of a nice room that's nicely decorated, but we don't see that person's house. We don't see the other rooms. We don't see the mortgage payments. We don't see the rental payments. We don't see any of that. Don't let your eyes fool you into who has what and what, da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Don't let your eyes fool you with designer clothing and nicely decorated background. That means nothing if there's nothing in their bank accounts. That means nothing if they're in debt. That means nothing if they can't pay their bills. That means nothing if they can't do what they want and spend how much money they want when they want. It's nothing to do with it. Don't let your eyes look behind you when you're watching these YouTube videos. Just because I have this partition or whatever, and it's not all this fancy stuff, does not mean that I don't have money. Okay, because I know a lot of people are saying she can't hear. Believe me, a lot of the stuff that y'all see in people's backgrounds is for show. I can put up a fake background all day, every day. I can put up whatever background I want. Anything I put up in my background, I can afford it. Know that. Well, maybe not the Disney World, but I can afford to go there at least. So what I'm saying is, don't let what the background is doing deceive you in people's videos. Because I know a lot of people that are, I know a lot of people. I don't know a lot of people, but I have seen a lot of people, let's put it this way, that look like they have a lot. The way they dress, talk, walk, act, and things like that. But then when you see what they really, really have, it's very little. So therefore, you got to be very smart on who you date. Make sure they have what they are supposed to have in order, to date you. A lot of people will, I can tell the difference between some people's, ability to have money and some ability to look like they have money. And every time, you're always most likely going to choose the wrong one if you're just going by what they're wearing, what their car looks like, what their home, I'm not even going to say house, but home looks like. Because a lot of times, like I said, they're rented, they're not paid for, they're in debt behind it. It's, still trying to look rich while poor. So don't ever do that. And like that, y'all need to stop trying to look rich if you don't have enough money in your bank account or in your savings accounts or in any of your accounts. Stop trying to look rich if you don't have it. This way, a man that does have something will want to offer you more. Okay? They will want to offer you more because they already know you don't have it and it's something that, will appeal to you. And when something appeals to you, you like it more. So this is why men need to have some money when dating women. And this is why women need to date men that have money to offer. And this is because if you don't have anything to offer, then and you just like each other's company and you just like each other, then don't get into a serious relationship. And I know a lot of women are saying, well, I have my own money and he has his own money. But what happens when you can't work or when you don't want to work, or if you get pregnant and you don't want to work and you have to take time off work? What happens when you decide one day that you no longer want to work and you want to do something else? Is he going to be able to handle all of the, finances? Is he going to be able to handle all the bills? Is he going to be able to make all the payments? Is he going to be able to do all that? If so, great. If not, then like I said, it's definitely great to have your money. Also, if he is giving you money, make sure you keep some and save it. That way you have money when you need it because he gave it to you. Okay? Or make sure you have a way to create more money if you ever should need it. And I don't teach to depend 100% on a man. Whoever is saying that, don't watch the videos. They never watch the videos. The reason why is because they're too busy watching snips and clips of what people are presenting, which is totally incomplete. Okay, so yes, I might be silly and funny on some of those clips. And I realize that that's not really helpful to a lot of these ladies who are taking this advice from people that are editing and clipping it and putting it on their own little platform. I don't agree with any of that. And like I said before, people are going to, I don't know, I guess that's how people are going to do whatever they feel like is trendy. So, all I need to know is that you guys know. I never say depend 100% on a man, because if women did that, they wouldn't get too far. Depend on them for what they're supposed to give you. Take what they're supposed to give you and then create something from it. Okay? Because a lot of people, they don't really know. They don't know any better. And if you don't spell things out to people 100%, they can't fill in the blanks for some reason. And that's perfectly fine. A lot of people don't know how to fill in the blanks. And a lot of people don't know how to fill in the blanks because their thinking is slower. And their thinking is slower is because they're too busy following directions, following orders, listening what people tell them to do. And the reason why people do that is because they are afraid to make their own decisions. Now, when I used to ask a lot of people, what should I do, da 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 da, and instead of being afraid to, make my own decision, I noticed that a lot of people will give you really bad advice that's not for your best interest, and it's not good for you. So instead of asking everyone else, instead of asking me 1,000 questions, ask yourself, is this going to give me what I want? Is this going to give me the type of life that I want? Dating this type of person? Yes or no? If no, then why are you there? If yes, then you have that, and you could go with, see how that dating goes. A lot of people don't realize this. If you're not smart, if you're not intelligent enough to do your own research, to ask yourself questions, to know who you are and what you want and what you require, instead of what's trending, what your friend thinks, or what's popular. Let me tell y'all something. All this trending stuff is not for your best interest a lot of times, because you're getting snippets of it. You're not getting the complete, teaching. So y'all need to realize that a lot of times what y'all are listening to and learning and repeating and regurgitating is not for your best interest sometimes, if it's not complete. This is why I tell y'all need to watch the YouTube channel instead of the clips. Y'all need to stop listening to everyone who doesn't have what you actually, see yourself having, and don't go by backgrounds. Believe. I can tell you, a lot of times people don't realize this. One day, you're going to find out that who you choose to date and how you choose to represent yourself is definitely going to give you, an advantage. And that advantage is being able to live where you want, shop where you want, eat where you want, go where you want, vacation where you want, with no issue. So
modern day bimbo babble. Shout out to Pink Book Lessons for that one. I love that phrase. Modern day bimbo babble.
Yeah.
This is all modern day bimbo babble. Notice how she don't mention anything that a woman could contribute. Anything that a woman's supposed to contribute on a man's behalf. It's everything that you want. Like she's casting a spell.
Right.
Remember
I was thinking the very same thing. Like me. I. Just everything is just so self-centered. Everything that she's saying, it's actually very difficult to listen to. Like, yeah,
right.
It really is. You said it best. Like bimbo, mumbo, jumbo, whatever it was. Like she just keeps ranting. And it's just everything that I just keep seeing the irony in everything that she's saying, and she doesn't even realize it. Like right. Everything she's saying, I can just tell, like it's coming from something within herself that she's being fraudulent. Like I just do not see anything about her being genuine or authentic by any means. And what's really, really irritating me throughout this entire video is just how she sees men as walking money bags. Like right. If that's what you want, if you just want money, get your ass up and go work for it. If you want to go to Disney World, go to Disney World, lady, but be your own bank account. If that's all you see men as, just do it for yourself, because clearly that's all you want them around for. Just do it yourself then. I will never understand this sense of mentality that these women have today, that they're owed something, that these men owe them all this money. Like, what is it about money that you want so badly that you're willing to skip over love and an actual, a good man? Like, okay, so like I said, when my husband and I first started out, we weren't, anywhere near where we are now, and we're nowhere near rich right now. But I knew that he was a hardworking man, and I knew that he was everything that I needed. Like, I just can't understand this mentality of like me. Bring something to the table. Okay, if you don't want to work, I'm sure the man won't even mind. But what are you gonna bring, instead of that? Like, my husband's very simple. He likes to come home to a nice home cooked meal, regardless of what time it is, so I always make sure that's good for him. I always make sure that his work clothes are clean. I always make sure that he's got clean clothes and he doesn't have to go scrummaging around the house looking for something to wear. It's very, very simple. I got to love on him a little bit, and that's it. And we have a great relationship, and we're a team. And she's never going to find that. I don't think she wants to find that. I think that she's completely content with just money, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. I think women like her and even younger women, no, women don't really understand that now, but I think once women are in their 30s and stuff and they're still out in the dating market, they're these supposed independent type women. They think that their independence is going to provide the fountain of youth to them. And I tell my husband this all the time. I'm like, they see the fountain of youth and money because all the cosmetic surgeries they can have now, all of the fixing uppers of their things, the makeup and the nice cars and houses, they can look the part for a certain amount of time. And then they don't realize that was the wrong way to go about things until they hit the wall. Now, when they're in their 40s and 50s, they're like, oh, well, where are all the good men at? Or where did I go wrong? Or I actually want a good guy now and can't seem to find one. Yeah, because you've been listening to women like this telling you that you're supposed to prioritize yourself. You're supposed to prioritize your wants. You're supposed to prioritize money. You're supposed to choose that over a real relationship. You're supposed to choose that over family. You're supposed to choose that over structure. And yeah, now you're suffering. Now you're lonely. And now the only people that probably want to deal with you would be some younger guys that just see you as a pocketbook now. Because it falls back in the lines of that for it. What goes around comes around. Now you're going to be a sugar mama to somebody just so you can get some attention. Because the men that you actually want don't want you. The men that's around your group, your age group, you don't even want to be with. And so you're looking for the youngest thing that you can get just to get that can, give you some thrills. Now you have to pay for it. And I find it funny that they don't see that that's the actual circle of things. While you're sitting at home miserable because that young man don't want to stay with you. He don't want to be there. There's a young girl he's probably going to wife in a few years because men are always going to look for youth. But yeah, you got women like this that are spilling this nonsense because they honestly think that they really can do better than men and better without them. And they don't find out the truth of that until it's too late.
Right. Okay, on my mic. Okay. I had a very, very liberal route to conservatism, and my experience is through college. Like, I feel like college gave me this warped mind that, my sense of worth was through a degree. It was just through a piece of paper. And so, like, when I went into college, I had this mentality that, like, I have to be independent. I have to work for what I want. I at that point in my life, I didn't want to I didn't want to have kids. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to get married. So I literally fell into that whole sphere of these women that we're speaking of today. And if my husband didn't come into my life when he did, I feel like, unfortunately, I may be just where she's sitting. He really did change the whole course and direction of my life. But when I was going into college, and I was going through all these courses and I feel like college is the biggest scam. I know that can lead in so many other different conversation pieces, but I feel like that's what gave me that mentality was college. That I have to be Miss Independent, that I have to be a girl boss, I have to be the CEO of something big. And then when I fell into motherhood, actually, and it was kind of rough for me at first because of the mentality that I had. And I was afraid of not working. And my husband really worked through that with me. And now I'm very, very content with where I am. but it took a while. And so that's why watching women like this really, really irks me, because I lived that and I know how unhappy I was. I know that I had a sense of unworthiness when I didn't finish college. I knew that everything that I felt that I was going into college, and it was through, my self-worth was absolutely through a piece of paper. And when I didn't achieve that, I felt like the biggest failure, and that I was never going to be successful. And little did I know that I was going to be successful, just in different ways that I wasn't even aware of yet.
I'm so against the whole idea of college because, I think a lot of the indoctrines in college is why there's a massive modern women that have this whole independence idea of things, and they push it. They definitely push it. You get the experience of being of freedom finally out of your family's house. You're around men and you're drinking and you're having party times and all of this stuff. And then you go into the school and you get liberal studies, you get all of this stuff that pushes you in the way of really not having a good job. When you get out, you get some little sit down job. And then you think that those degrees don't even really stand up anyway, because you got 4 or 5 degrees you went to school for, but yet you have this little cushy sit down job. And then you're working like a man. And then you think you know more than a man because you went to college and you were indoctrinated through a college. So it's just like, it gives them this mindset that they think they know something. And a lot of these schools are just indoctrination camps for young men and women, telling them that we're telling you information that we want you to take on to be the next group of people to serve us. That's pretty much how I look at college. It's nothing that comes on a woman's side of things that can come in a positive realm. You push away marriage because when you're in college and you're going to school, that is your focus, along with the partying, that is your focus. And when you get the job, you don't make time to be dating the right guy. You just having fun because you've done all that stuff in college and you're out there and you're partying. So when you get out there and you're on your own after college, you're still partying and you're just doing the serial dating. Mm-hmm. And then you become a serial dater. You don't look for anything serious because you enjoy the experience you had in college. And then it doesn't come until it's too late that you realize that, gosh, I used all my 20s and 30s on just all of this stuff. My degrees don't really matter. No men really likes me for these degrees. What did I even get them for? And it's just, hit the wall.
Right.
It's something that I don't find any value in. I don't find value in the college of things. I don't. If you want to learn some business, I can understand that. When it comes down to men actually going to college and trying to learn business, I can understand that. But you can actually go to a business person themselves that's been running a business and they know a lot more about business than a person in a school that became a teacher that's trying to teach you business. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I look at it.
And it's very accurate. I mean, everything you're saying is so on the nose. And like my husband tells me this all the time, like, because we're both in AA. So like we go on talk shows or, a lot of different like live streams and stuff and speak on our experiences. And one thing that he always says is like, if you want to get sober, now you can apply this to anything. If you want to be a businessman, if you want to get sober, if you want to be a doctor, like what? And he always uses this analogy, like when you walk into a hospital, right, and you see a doctor, he normally has a team of people behind him, all jotting down notes and watching every single thing this man does. Those are the residents. They're going to watch that doctor because they want to be just like that doctor. They're going to do everything he does. They're going to capture it in their minds, and they're going to, he's going to be the leader and the guidance for them to be a new generation of doctors. And he says it, it's the same thing for anything. Like if you want to get sober like he did, he hung around some sober people that actually had it and that were serious about it, and he got them sober. If you want to be a businessman, if you want to be a millionaire, go hang out millionaires, study them, see how they work with their finances, see how they move. It's anything in life. And I just think it's crazy how they're so quick to give 18-year-olds all this money for college loans, but they won't give anybody that wants a small business loan. It's so much more difficult to get that. And it's like 18 years old. And that's when we're most vulnerable in life. Like we're coming into this newfound freedom of adulthood, but we're still going to make really poor decisions. So yeah, let's go ship them 3 hours away to a college university, to a completely different environment that they're not accustomed to, and let them work it out on their own. I think it's crazy. I was grateful in the sense that I was able to commute to my college or the university that I was going to. But It really does. Like we were talking about how it gives women this sense of entitlement almost. Because I'm going to college, it means that I'm better. Because I'm going to college, it means that I'm going to be up here in life. You know, I have to have this image. I have to ensure that I'm always independent and that I have things to show for the fact that I went to college. And I don't know why, but I feel like the entirety of my education, that's what they were pushing on us. I went to Catholic school all of my life, and from the time I can remember until my senior year, they were really shoving it into our minds that like in order for you to be something, in order for you to have any amount of success, you have to go to college. And so that's when I was like, all right, I'll go to college. Well, I was 17, 18 years old, and I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I knew that I loved and really enjoyed helping people, and so I kind of capitalized on that. And I decided to go for nursing, and it was not for me. And I struggled, and I say it all the time, I'm a woman of faith, and I wasn't back then. And looking back on, my life, I can see the hands of God working and weaving through everything. And college never worked out for me. As difficult or as hard as I tried to make it work, there was 3 times I tried going back to college, and it wasn't that I didn't have the intelligence behind it. It was just the timing was never right. The last time I tried going back, I had 2 little girls, and it just didn't work out because God had different plans for me. And I think he knew that I was putting my whole sense of worth into a college degree. And I think it's ridiculous now looking back on that, especially being with everything that I have. Everything that makes me was built organically through God. Like I have my beautiful children, and I cannot imagine life without them. I have my incredible husband who provides, he works for me. He's that sense of direction, and he just makes my life better. I know that I can depend on him. He gives me a sense of security and stability. No job would ever be able to provide that for me. I'm very, very blessed to have the life that I do have. And it really is because I decided to get married, and I decided to, my husband and I met when I was like 23. So he's really all I've ever known since 23. And I look back on the course of our life through the last 7 years that we've been together, 7.5 years. And it wasn't all puppies and rainbows. Like I'll tell you that. It was a struggle at times, and it was hard at times, but it's those difficulties in marriage and through relationship with someone that you love and care about that gets you through everything. Like, and now we're able to kind of sit back a little bit and be like, wow, like this is what we built so far. Like, I can't wait to see what the next 10 years bring. Like, that's something college degree would have never been able to give to me. And, it's really funny because I knew, like I had said, I always wanted to help people. And it's like, I'm doing that now, just in a different way. So like God always had these plans for me, and I'm not sure where this is, I still don't not 100% sure where he's going to take me, but he's given me some incredible, amazing opportunities where I've been guests on amazing podcasts and live streams and meeting thousands upon thousands of different people. And, now I'm doing this, and I don't believe it was for nothing. And I don't know, I'm grateful that I didn't finish college. I'm grateful that I decided to take a different route. And I really believe it was because Joey stepped into my life when he did. And when I say that God like hand delivered Joey on my doorstep, he did. Like Joey one day after I had Eva, 2 weeks later, he just came to my house, knocked on my door, and he never left since. Like he's been in my life since. It's just incredible the way it all worked out for me. And I'm grateful that college didn't work out. I'm grateful that I'm no longer in this woman's mentality of money, money, money. Everything has to be about me. I have to be independent, and I have to have the nice things. Like I don't care about those things. It's the simplicity of life for me today, which holds such value to my life.
Amen. 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 Oh man. I love that you share your story. I love that you always speak on that you having troubles in the past and how marriage is not perfect. Marriage is always going to have some hardships. It's y'all sticking it out, working together and striving through it all is what brings the value in it in the end. And that is the lack of understanding in these modern day marriages. Because like I said, women just want the wedding. They don't want the marriage. They just want the wedding. They want to celebrate that somebody chose them. They want to celebrate all the materials that could come behind it. They want to walk around doing little twerkum dances at their own wedding in front of all of their groomsmen, groomsmen and everything, and just act all types of crazy. No respect for themselves, because that's all they're concerned about. That is all they're concerned around. And I appreciate your story every time that you mention it. That's why I soloed you, because I think people have a real bad assumption of what it takes for marriage. You know, with the statistics going around of it, you know, 50% chance of it not working. I can understand why men want to walk away. Just how the mentality of women are out here, I can understand why men don't want to do it anymore. And it's such a beautiful thing. It really is. I don't know where I would be without mine. I really don't. He has done so much for me. And there was times that I was difficult. There was times I didn't have an understanding because I had certain, females around me that was giving me the idea that I'm supposed to be something different, when I know truly of what I am now is what I wanted. And it's crazy on how we can be easily influenced, just like this woman here, from women that would tell us something different than what our own true desires by nature is telling us. Marriage is a desire by nature. We are supposed to be an helpmate to someone. We are supposed to be to a man, not just someone, to a man. We're supposed to be a helpmate, and we're supposed to be there to nurture and be part of his guidance, to be able to guide the kids. Like it is such a beautiful way of life. And that being lost is why it's so easy to corrupt things now, because there's no unity. There's not even unity between the genders. There really is no unity because it's broken up. I can definitely understand the MGTOW men, but I am in disagreement of fully giving up on marriage, because I believe that women like you're raising daughters, I'm raising one girl, that are actually going to be able to make our daughters well prepared for the lifestyle that we are in, that we see that is positive for them, to where they can actually take on and follow another man. So when you have all men that's on this disagreement of marriage, it leaves the little girls like our daughters, without having that experience. But I can understand them to an extent, because we don't know where the next generations are going to be going, because how things are now. This woman here has such a major influence, and she's talking to other mothers, to where our daughters will get overlooked. I'm hoping that it's going to be like one of the two. Is either our daughters will get overlooked because we're going to have a mass population of men that don't care about marriage anymore, and then the weak men that follow women like that, or we can give it the benefit of the doubt, and actually our daughters will be the shining light in a lot of men, because they'll be so rare, because there's real men still out here looking for marriage that want that, not necessarily real men. I'm not saying that, but like the men that actually desire marriage still are going to be looking for it, that are raised by their fathers, when their fathers are telling them that this is the type of woman that you should ever, strive for or ever have children with. They'll be looking for the women like our daughters. And I'm betting on that, which is why we're doing this podcast, to try to get women to understand some things that we can have a better future to come. We can definitely have a better future. Our lives, the way it is now, neither me nor you are going to be bought out of. There's nothing you can do about that. I love my husband to death. If it wasn't for him, I honestly wouldn't know where I would be. I honestly wouldn't. I think I would be probably trying to find someone like her, or listening to YouTube videos like her, because I'm lost. A lot of these modern women out here are lost souls, mindless bots. They have no idea what's ahead of them, because they could care less, because there was nothing instilled with them to begin with for them to understand what they're supposed to be searching for. We don't have the fathers in the homes that's able to guide them and let them know what type of men that they're supposed to be leaving home with. We have women out here that's telling women like her, thank goodness she don't have any children. I never heard her mention that. But there's women like her out here with children that are telling their daughters to think this way, and telling the young men that they're supposed to be a certain way with women, because they've had bad experiences with men, and they've put themselves in those situations with men and don't want to take accountability for that. And this is the outcome. This is the outcome of things, like y'all want to look at marriage as negative. You want to look at it as bad. Okay. But if you honestly want to understand what marriage is, you need to be talking to the women who actually are married. You need to be talking to the men. The boys need to talk to the fathers. They need to talk to the husbands to understand their role. The little girls need to talk to the mothers that are married, that understand their role. The housewives, the real mothers. There's even some marriages that the mothers are actually working. I help my husband all the time with his company. I am his secretary, and it saves on him having to finance somebody else out. And it also keeps all the business in the home. Our sons would be able to have something to come back to. And it takes the stress off of him. There's nothing wrong with that. Y'all want to have a job, work for your husbands. Make your husband prosperous. Y'all so concerned with money. If you're so concerned with money, why ain't working on your husband? If your husband's blue collar and he doesn't have a business of his own, why don't you help him out? Why don't you see if there's something where you fit? That way it eases up on him. I do stuff for my husband all the time, especially when he was blue collar. When he was blue collar, I was pregnant with our daughter and I was working at I was still waitressing. So that whole skit that she said there were like, oh, okay, well, what are you going to do when you're pregnant and you can't work? You need money? No, I still got my butt up and worked to help him. Like, I don't understand why we're so wrapped around money, but yet we don't want to do anything for it unless it's given to us or we sell ourselves for it. And it's just sad that we have women out here that think that this is okay, but yet they want to name us, they want to ridicule us, and they want to actually try to say that there's something wrong with women like us. Well, we're the ones living the lifestyle that a majority of women actually desire by nature, because it's going to get to a point, no matter how old you are, that you're like, dang, I wish I had a husband, or I just wish a guy would pick me. The modern women out here are the pick-me's. They are the pick-me's. And they're mad that we're chosen. And that's all I got to say there, because I ran all day.
You just, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. It really was. Because everything you're saying is just so true. It's so valid and accurate. And I really do think it comes down to that. I think it's a sense of jealousy almost, that these women are kind of, I don't know if they're aware of it or not, but I do. I think that they're jealous of the women out there who understand and who got, who wiped their husbands up. Because now it's like, she's lonely, like she's by herself. I don't know if she's got some, dudes that she's messing. No man of value is going to take her seriously. Right. And I only know that because my husband's a valuable man. I know how his mind works, and he wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. He wouldn't go near her. He wouldn't have conversation with her. He would think she's foul. And I'm just being honest. And I'm not saying that to be judgmental. I'm just saying it because it's true. And I never want to speak so intensely to where we're like scaring people away. But I'm only saying these things because it's accurate. Men of value don't look at women like that and say, I can't wait to marry her. Like, they look at women like her and they turn the other cheek, and I'm not even going to waste my time. And at best, they'll have a one-night stand with you, because men do that sometimes. Let's just be honest. Men don't take women like that seriously. And men that do go around sleeping around, I think they got some issues of themselves as well. Because I don't think that just because you're a man, it automatically gives you the right to go around and sleep with a bunch of women. Like, I think if you're that kind of man, then you too have some, you need to take a look at yourself.
All right, let's continue on with this.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize is when you get to a certain age, sometimes you get into a pattern of wanting to do something, but you realize, oh my goodness, I should have chosen a different type of, lifestyle. And when you choose that different type of lifestyle, it's never too late. All I'm saying is it's better to choose that when you have more options, not less options, but more options. When you have more options to choose from, then it's better. Okay. I'm not going to stay on here very long. I'm not answering questions. Therefore, I'm so happy that you guys are, still supporting the channel. And even though I decide that I'm not going to be doing I'm not going to be taking any type of questions or anything right now, due to you guys asking the same questions over and over, like, the same exact questions over and over. I never realized how redundant it was for other people to listen to. And I don't think that it is good for new or older subscribers to keep seeing the same thing over and over. So I hope that you guys are, appreciative of that. Also, right now, I'm just making sure that I'm getting a lot of things in order. Just doing a little. This is my favorite time of year, you guys. My favorite time of year. So I'm just getting ready for this time of year. The weather's getting cooler. Everything is, falling into place where it should be. And I really hope that you guys are, also, I'm maybe doing some vlogs. And I know this is not really a vlog type channel, but I do have vlogs that I've been doing for so many years. There are so many vlogs. And if you guys like the vlogs, hopefully there'll be some soon for you guys. If not, I don't know. I'm not making any promises. So, I like to just make sure that whatever I'm creating is fun for me, makes me happy, and that I really like doing whatever, I create that is going to be on the channel. So anyway, a lot of people, I don't know how many people are watching. I can't see the number. That's okay. So if y'all like this video and this style of video without all the comments and things like that, let me know if you can. I don't know if there's that thumbs up option or not. I don't think I put that there. I'm sure you like it. I'll be able to tell by how many people watch it. So I'll see y'all on the next one. And remember, women like money. So men, if you have no money, gotta go. Bye.
That was the most torturing.
That really was. That was the most grueling hour of my life watching that. I mean, I like making commentary on it, like that's fun, but that was very difficult to watch. And like, just to say a couple things on like that last piece that she put in there, how she was saying like we always have options, like just everything that she says is just total, like it's just so false. Women are not always going to be able to carry children. So these women that are living this materialistic lifestyle and saying that they don't need men, when they turn 40, 45 and they're finally ready to settle down, a man's not going to want, who's younger, isn't going to want to settle down with a 45-year-old woman. And even if they do, it's probably going to be challenging to have children. So by this women saying that we have all these different options and we don't have to worry about it, we have options as we grow, I don't really think that's necessarily true. And when I was in the dating realm, having all these different options was extremely tedious for me. I didn't like it. I don't like having all these different men throwing themselves at me. And then I was so insecure with myself at a time that I was falling into that. And so I think less is more in every way that you put it. Like with my life today, I don't need all these fancy things that I just got a phone call. I don't need all those things. We keep resorting back to simplicity. And that is really where I find peace within my marriage, within myself, is just the simple things in life. I don't need the handbags. I don't need the fancy cars. Like, I just need to have I need to have security. I need to feel safe. And I need to have a family that's, I love my family. I love the way that we go together. And if I were to take this woman's advice a couple years ago, I wouldn't have what I have today. I just think she's trashy. I don't think that she has any value. I don't even think she believes in what she's saying, to be honest with you. I just think everything about her is completely inauthentic. And it's very, very damaging to the women out there who are vulnerable, who are insecure, who did fall into the schemes of the world that I did, and that are trying to waken up to something better, and they just can't see anything outside of that because they're looking at these women to be role models, when in reality, they're actually destroying your mentality. Listening to filth like that, like, women who watch this sort of content day in and day out, that's what they're going to become. You are what you listen to. You are what you surround yourself with. So I just think that, she needs, I don't know, this woman needs a reality check. And I think it's too late for her. She's gone, and she's already a little older to the extent of, even if she does want to change her ways and, come back down to reality and come back to earth, it may be too late for her. And that's on her. That's her poor choices that led her where she's at. And I can just tell by listening to everything that she's saying, she's not a happy woman. Happy women don't speak like that. That's all I have to say about that.
I agree with you on that. I agree. Even when you said that, I don't think that's true with the whole options thing. It's not true. The time that you actually have options is when you're in your 18, 19, 20s, the earliest of 20s before you reach 25. And the more you are as feminine and as submissive and around those times, you might will have a nice majority of options there because of your youth. As time goes on, you lose options. If you're not married by then, you lose options. Men see that as a problem if you're not married in your 30s, if you're not married in your late 20s, and then you made it to 40 and 50 and you either got married or left the marriage, then it shows that you're not loyal, that you can't stick with something. You can't stick with structure. So even being married before and then leaving the marriage is looked at as bad. So this whole idea that you have options once you get to a certain point in life is fallacy. And that's the problem with everything that she says. We are conditioned to wanting to hear things that we like. We don't like to hear the truth. We want to always be told the good things. My husband calls it the sweet nothings because there's nothing behind it, but it all sounds sweet. And that's what women are addicted to today. So women actually just listen to her because she's saying a bunch of sweet nothings. Yeah, it sounds like a great life to just be out there with all of this freedom and look for men just for money and make sure that he just chivalrizes you to death with everything that he's worked for and you're not supposed to do anything for it. Yeah, that sounds good. It sounds like some Barbie Dreamhouse Land type of crap, Disney movie. That's not reality. And women wonder why that their reality is totally different from what they're hearing. It's because you're listening to all of these fantasies. You're listening to what these women are dreaming up for you. You're not listening to anybody who's actually in the position of marriage, in the position of understanding the hardships of marriage, what they did to get through it. It's crazy. It's sad to even see when you see some marriages fail. There's been like a whole thing recently of a lot of women just walking away from marriages. They've been together 20, 30 years due to finances. Things get hard. Economies crash. So you're just supposed to, that right there shows that you wanted to live a fantasized world because you decided to just walk away from your husband because he couldn't make it somehow or during a downtime. A man knows the responsibility that he has when he takes you on. A man knows the responsibility he has when you have his kids. A man knows what he's supposed to do in life. Men know that. So when they do go have some hardships and the financials actually be a little strained, and they're not as strong as they were, they know that they have to do something to fix it because of who they have to provide for. So why walk away from him for that? Because now you can't get all of the little wants that you want because you have the mindset of this woman here, because you think you're just supposed to be giving the world all the time. It just don't make any sense. It really doesn't. I'm sick of women like this out here. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I feel like I've been doing that like this entire video. No. I don't mean to. I really don't mean to. I just like what you're saying, and it's really kind of revolving around what was going on in my head right now. Is like just that way of life just isn't sustainable, because at one point there's going to come a time in this woman's life where she's going to regret the fact that she didn't jump on getting married and having. I always put it this way: there's going to come to a point where they regret not having children, but you're never going to regret your children, right? Like I will never regret having my children. I have never regretted, and I never will. But if I didn't get married and have kids, I'm pretty sure that there was going to come a point in my life where I regretted not doing those things. And then it's too late for me. Because like we were discussing earlier, when we get to a specific age in life, we're no longer, we can't carry life anymore. It's not viable anymore. We're not capable of doing it. And so, these women are going to come to find the hard way that they really deeply regret the lives that they have lived. And it's because of influencers like this. And another thing that I picked up on in her video is she was saying, like, video that I like to do, content that I like to do, stuff that I like to do. It keeps coming back to like the me mentality. Like, I don't care what you guys like. I'm just going to keep putting out what I like doing. And then I kind of look at like, why look at the mentality that you and I have behind this, and why we're doing it. No one necessarily wants to put their face out there and talk about hard discussions that we know are extremely what's the word I'm looking for? Oh gosh, I'm having like a mind blank right now. What's the word? Why can I not think of it? Like, it's just hard discussions. Like, people don't want to have these anymore, but we're doing this because we know that it's important. We know that we're bringing value to the table by doing this. For other women that are willing to take a look at themselves and be like, you know what? I was living this way, and I'm watching these two talk about like how better that their lives got when they decided to settle down and get married and allow their men in their lives to take care of them and make the decisions. Life got better for them. I'm not shy about my past or my history by any means. I'm in AA. I was a drug addict for like 6 or 7 years of my life. And then my husband walked into my life and completely changed everything for me. And that's because he was giving me the structure and the support and the direction and the care and the guidance that I was so desperately seeking in the world, that I was willing to balance out that internal void with substances, because I genuinely was not happy with my life. And I had it all. I had the nice things. I had the cute clothes. I had a nice car. I was going to a full-blown scholarship to college. I wasn't paying a dime of money. I had all those things, but I still was self-seeking because I wasn't happy with those things. I knew that I wanted more in life, even if I wasn't, like, internally, I knew I wanted something different. So at the time, I wasn't sure what that was. But looking back on it now, I know for a fact it's because I was looking for more in life that what my lifestyle wasn't capable of giving me. And so these women are, like we said, we say constantly, like, they're going to learn. Like, you're going to learn. You're going to come to a point in life where you're going to come to the realization that the way that you're living in this lifestyle, it's not sustainable. Like, it's not going to sustain you for life. You're going to get lonely. You're going to grow old. And what, are you going to grow old with your cats? Are they going to give you the comfort? Are your purses that you bought 15, 20 years ago going to give you the sense of comfort that you're looking for now? It's just shallow. And it's just, I don't know where this sense of entitlement came from within our women here in this country. I really think it absolutely started with the feminine movement. But to see where we're at now, and to see so many women turn their backs on the roles that we were given, and they're trying to find more. And what they don't understand is God gave us these roles for a reason, because women are the best to carry out the roles that we have. We care for the children. We have that sense of nurturing that men don't really have. And we're able to provide for our children in that sense. But men do so much more than what I could ever do. I can't do what my husband does. I've seen the stress behind having to constantly worry about providing for and maintaining this house and our children and me. I don't want to worry about that. I'm just being honest. I see how stressful he gets. And when times get tough, or when we're a little short on money, like, I've seen what it can do to a man. It can drive them crazy, because their whole mission and their whole purpose, I have to provide for my family. When I'm not providing for my family, or I'm not capable of doing that, I think it strikes them in a way that we're not really, I don't think we can relate to it. Many of us
Right.
feel this way.
Right.
So yeah, it's just watching content like hers, and just how selfish and self-seeking, and she's just so stuck in bondage. And in the beginning of this video, I said that I have no sympathy for her. I actually do feel bad that she's so stuck in this mentality that she feels like she needs to spew all this disgusting toxicity on other women. Like, I feel bad for the girls that are vulnerable, that are going to click on that video and be like, I want to be just like her. Like, it's...
Yes, that right there, that's what I have the issue with too. The young girls that have no idea what they're listening to. Mm-hmm. The ones that are actually going to just listen to this and think this is a path to something. I definitely feel sorry for them. Because it always going to start at home. It's always going to start at home, the issues that we have in society. And we have really bad homes out here, broken homes, fatherless homes. We have women that just are kind of like really siphoning semen from men so they can get paid for it. The children or checks, and they're looking for something. They're trying to figure out a path, and they run to YouTube, and YouTube is something that they actually can delve in, because they see many others that kind of can relate to them. All you got to do is swipe a few shorts or click on a few videos. And if it's something that sounds intriguing, especially on the women's side, because we like to hear stuff all the time, We like to live in fantasy realms. It's easy to absorb that information and think, oh, this is a path. And look at this woman as where they're calling you auntie and they're calling this you queen and all of this crap because it just feeds an ego in them. Right. Like I can't. It's funny because my husband used to call me that. And I told him, no, you can just call me your wife. I'm more acceptable to that. You know, I have him in my phone as king, but I want to be a noble wife. The term queen has just been so degraded now, you know, to where even if, you know, I'm in a store and somebody, a man just politely says it because that is maybe his approach towards me. It's just kind of like, no, you know, like I understand you were being a complimentary, giving me something complimentary, but no necessary for that, you know, but I am married. Thank you. And everything.
Right.
I just I can't even stand it now. And that's part of the reason why I was kind of intrigued in some of the my philosophical thoughts about queens. And historically, I had put on my original channel. If none of y'all follow my original channel, Less of a Housewife, you check that one too. Where I have mentioned.
Go check it out.
Check that out too. I will be doing more content on there soon. I just wanted, me and Christina's been trying to work on this for like the beginning of this year. Yes. And we had our lives to take care of first. So I wanted to branch this out before I get back to that. But not off topic. There's a lot of historical queens that was just as damaging. And I find it ironic because a lot of queens, you know, they had, it seems like with women, once they get a certain amount of power, they automatically fall to destruction. They always do. And that's why we're not supposed to have it. We're helpmates. We're not supposed to be in the forms of any leadership or have any type of power. I think queen was the highest power that you can get in a kingdom, but yet they wanted more. They had to have more. They needed to be the king too. And it's just crazy on how much we're never satisfied with things, you know? And so to where women are actually looking at us like, oh, you can't not really be happy, or you can't really just be satisfied in that. Oh, you got a little soccer mom van. You don't want more than that. You know, and it's just like, I'm good. I am good. I'm satisfied with what I have. I'm satisfied with I was satisfied with a lot less, you know? Shoot, I remember I was walking when I met my husband. I got a car now. So yeah, I'm pretty good. You know, so women out today don't understand women like me and you. And I'm just hoping we can catch the young women that want to really know and they come across us. I really do.
I agree. I really do. I agree with all of that. I mean, like with the queens and everything, I mean, really, we can look back at the fall of man, right? Like, and you were right on the head with that as well. Like we were created for men. We were literally created from the rib of men. Like we are for men. And so, you know, as soon as Eve slips away from the guidance and direction of Adam is when she falls, right? Like, so that is where the peak of our fall happened. Like we decided that we can make choices and decisions on our own, completely unreliant and based off of what our husband's saying. Shh, baby, shh. And, you know, we can look at the Garden of Eden as a pure example of what happens to us when we decide to go out on our own and make these life decisions on our own. Mommy's talking, baby. We fall, and we fall hard. And most women don't want to hold themselves accountable to the destructions that they had caused, especially within their lives. So that was interesting that you said that about the queens because it's so accurate. And I was thinking about Adam and Eve as you were saying that. Like as soon as Eve got a little bit of freedom, you know, she got a little bit of vulnerability going on and she decided to go and she slept into, she kind of found herself in the grips of that grimy little slithery snake. And he convinced her that you can be just like God. You can know what he knows. You can feel what he feels. He doesn't want you to have those things. And that's what happens to women when we think that we have all the answers and that we're capable of just walking life on our own. When in reality, we need the guidance and protection of man to keep us safe. That's
yes. Yeah, I'm in high agreement. Without the man, it just shows how lost we can be. Without any form of guidance for them, just shows how lost we can be. You know, and the proof's in the pudding with society right now. It really is. I can't even find the word of how I want to describe it. It's just everything that's going on is very detrimental to the development of future generations. There's even people that don't even want to have generations develop. You know, everybody wants to change their genders and all of this stuff. Kids are we're going to be stagnant with population. And that's, of course, an ultimate goal for others. So it's just, it's crazy. But I think we did some good time on this one. What do you think?
I agree. I think we did great. And I think that's a great way to end it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Any final words before we end?
Oh man.
Anything you want to say to some young girls that might come across this?
I just want to tell the young ladies out there to look up to women that actually have value to what they're saying, that are happy with the things that they have. The women out there that they're looking up to, like the Kim Kardashians and, you know, all these supermodels that are stick thin and people like that we had just watched just now, they don't hold anything of any substance, any value, and they're miserable people. And I can promise the women that are actually looking into, like, you know what, maybe I do want to take a different route and I do want to settle down and get married and have children young. I think that's a beautiful way to live your life. And I think that's the way that life was intended. If you look back on our grandparents and the older generations, they all got married extremely young and they started having children extremely young. And they lived very sufficient, prosperous lives together. My grandparents have been together for like 60 some years now. And like, they love each other so much. And they went through everything together, and now they're at the end of their 80s now, you know, and I just watch how they are together and they can tell me about their lives and just how they started off. And it wasn't easy for them. It's not, marriage isn't easy for anybody, but I think that it's something worth taking in life. It was the best decision that I ever made of just sticking with my husband and allowing him to lead our family into the direction, into the care of which he's leading us. I think that he's doing a phenomenal job in his role in our family, and the way that he's guided me has definitely led me to a more prosperous life. And that's it was as easy as me just moving to the side and getting out of my own way, allowing him to speak life into me and listening to him. And I don't regret a thing. And so for the women out there that are younger and that maybe they're making bad choices, I would really just urge you to stop now while you can. You don't want to be 25 years old and have a rap sheet of men that you were with. Like, just stick with one that you care about, ride it out with them, help each other grow, support one another, and your life is going to start from there. I promise you're not going to regret it.
Amen to that. All right. And my final words for all you young ladies that could be watching is, if you want to be anything like us, you need to listen to anybody that's walking in our shoes. If you have any aunties or mothers that actually are married and they've been for decades, you need to ask them what it takes. You need to understand your role as a woman. You need to understand that feminism has led y'all all astray, and it has no meaning behind it but the full destruction of you all, the full destruction of your future. It doesn't hold any value. So if you really want to be what people would consider marriage material, definitely reach out to us. We soon will have some videos where we would either interview or conversate with anybody who wants to jump on. We want to talk to young women. We want to be able to help you understand something, because honestly, the majority of y'all are lost. The majority of y'all are lost, and y'all need some true guidance. And just to understand your role out here as a woman and as what it takes to be a wife, you have to listen to the ones that are. And to understand what a man is, you need to go ask your uncle that's been a man all his life. Ask your fathers. If you don't have your fathers, you need to find them. You really do. Or you can go out here and reach out to all the men's podcasts that actually are fathers that are speaking on something, because the manosphere itself is very educational. I hear a lot. I mean, Kevin Samuels was a good example of a father figure to many. That's why he gained so many followers, because he literally was a father figure to a lot of women out here that didn't have one. That's why he kept getting calls. So if y'all honestly want to understand what it takes, speak to the ones that know. Don't listen to all the fairy tale words out here, because the sweet nothings don't leave any form of substance. They really don't. And we're going to end the video with that. Thanks for joining again, Christina. We're going to do another.
Thanks so much for having me.
This is our channel. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, till next time.
Bye.